So, liebe Leute von heute. Der Strudel der Genesis hat sich auch so verändert. Ja, das war auf jeden Fall eine Sache, ich sollte besser nach dem Becken sehen. Das ist auf jeden Fall eine Sache, die ich total vergessen habe. Ja, das hatte ich jetzt also wirklich schon total vergessen gehabt, dass wir hier beim Strudel der Genesis noch was machen wollten. Und generell haben wir sowieso noch ein paar Sachen aus unserem modifizierten Buch auch noch zu lesen. So, mein lieber himmlischer Ambrosia, gieße was ein, ich werde dir ein Geschenk machen. Geht's dir gut? Nein, es ist so langweilig hier, dunkel und beengt und klein, es fühlt sich schrecklich an. Egal, bring mir Ambrosia, Schätze, Relikte, Schönheiten, was immer du willst. Kann es die Veränderung nicht bemerken oder ist es einfach zu betrunken? Letztes Echo von Lygus. Es gibt keine dokumentierten Fälle, in denen Ambrosia die Wahrnehmung der äußeren Realität eines Individuums übernimmt. Hypothese, die Namenlosen haben zuvor mit diesem Wesen zu tun, was möglicherweise eine kognitive Funktion beeinflusst hat. Haben zuvor mit diesem Wesen zu tun. Ist das die Beobachtungserinnerung von Lygus? Ambrosia, bring mir Ambrosia, ich habe noch mehr Schätze für dich, mein Schatz. Ja, okay, ich habe hier noch einiges an Ambrosia. Naja, beziehungsweise ich habe ja irgendwas anderes. Okay, ich habe wirklich gesagt was anderes als Ambrosia jetzt hier. Tja, da können wir auf jeden Fall... Warte mal. Na, was soll's. Trankopfer bringen wir da. Naja, strahlende Ambrosia. Mission abgeschlossen. Tja, ich hätte jetzt hier mit mehr gerechnet, aber was soll's. Was soll's. Wir haben immer noch hier, wie ich es schrieb, zur Verfügung. Die Heldensagen aus Amphoreus gehen ja sowieso noch in die nächste Runde. Immerhin haben wir jetzt hier sowieso noch die flinke Reisende, der Gefangene der Flammen oder auch den seismischen Wanderdrachen. Das soll dann sowieso auch die nächste Form von Dan Hang eigentlich auch werden. Denn wie wir sowieso auch schon gelesen hatten, aufgrund des Protokolls, was wir sowieso durch den Erhalt von, wie ich es schrieb, Amphoreus EX auf jeden Fall erhalten haben. Ja, scheint der sagt Dan Hang Amphoreus verlassen zu haben, aber dann wiederum auch nicht wirklich verlassen zu haben. Naja, immerhin ist seine Geschichte, ebenso wie unsere Geschichte, jetzt sowieso auch mit der Welt Amphoreus verflochten. Und ja, er kann dann sowieso, auch ein Erben von Chrysos. Also auch einen Platz der Erben von Chrysos einnehmen. Den seismischen Wanderdrachen Terravox. Der Bestie der antiken Wildnis.
The ancient chaos was shrouded in silence and shadow. The giant dragon's offspring was born from the earth. Sweet dreams had smothered the giant dragon's eyes and ears, and as they slept, the 100 eyes of Aquila had already opened, and Fagusa had begun to stir the playful waves. Yet Georios remained weighty and silent. Layer upon layer of peaks enveloped the dragon, cradling them in a bed more grand than any in existence. The giant dragons spent their childhood in darkness. From the moment their bleary eyes blinked open from haze of slumber, they hungered to feast on crude iron and drink deep of molten lava. Until one day they raised their head and with a low, guttural voice pleaded to glimpse light. The Titan lifted them up by their ribs, slowly raising them, the dragon's spine sliced through the strata of rock, cutting open the soil. When they reached the surface, they summoned mist woven of the fire of the stars. As though seeing themselves clearly and in full through the eyes of a giant bird. The giant dragon walked the earth alone. The Titan knew they were lonely and terrified too, and so sculpted new beasts from flesh and bone. In that wild, barren world, the giant dragon led the beasts of the earth. Excessively long life gifted the giant dragon with eyes that could pierce the veil of years. They witnessed the separation of day and night, as well as the entanglement of reason and romance. And even Kephili did not neglect to share with them a chalice of golden blood. The ocean teased, saying even should the earth sink utterly, they would not rot. Ever since they opened their eyes, the giant dragon rarely returned to slumber. And thusly, that mesmerizing dream that occasionally burst forth at night etched a trace on their memory. The gods they were familiar with were in this dream, and they were as immense and imposing as ever, yet had lost their freedom. Just what manner of magnificent pathstrider could imprison the Titans as mere reflections? The giant dragon dreamed also of their own path, that great breath from the heavens, or perhaps from beyond even the heavens. They dreamed of silver shards amongst the stars, reflecting the form of another giant dragon. That great cerulean dragon approached Amphoreus, the distant whispers roiling, becoming a roar engraved in the earth. They recognized the meaning in that low roar, its name, Permanence.
Ja, in der Tat. Das wird dann ja sowieso auch der neue Pfad sein. Den dann sowieso Danhang alias Terravox dann, ja, beschreiten wird. Der Bewahrung. So, wir waren aber jetzt, noch nicht hier fertig, denn wir haben, auch noch die Geschichte der wellenschlagenden Ritterin zu erleben. Der Gladiorum. Und die Sonate des Banketts wird jetzt erklingen.
The black tide that blotted out the sky surrounded the city walls. The soldiers manning the walls, battered from battle. Melodious chords of music were suddenly heard. A single swordmaster had overcome the waves of enemies. The song flowed from betwixt the blades, breaking through formations as a dorsal fin cleaving the waves. When the last wicked beast finally fell, shattered into pieces amidst the sword's dance, the frost blade bore no trace of blood.
The legions of heroes under my command are as vast as the sea, yet lack a formidable sword banner.
The commander extended a hand, inviting the musician to join. Should a fish separated from its school glimpse a faint glow, it will swim toward the light. The swordmaster clasped the commander's hand, as though gently grasping the hilt of a keen blade. When the spray of her waves extinguished the fires of war from the holy city, a golden name was engraved upon the stone pillars. The former commander burned the crown to become king.
High Sealands, brave in battle, triumphant in command. I grant you the title Dux Gladiorum. Let us all forge ahead together.
During the banquet after the battle, the weaver tailored for her a splendid dress, and the commander poured her honey brew. Her golden-blooded comrades gathered about her, chanting her new name, urging her to play that splendid music. The candlelight danced and mingled with flowing drink, swords and song ringing out in unison. Yet none knew that was once a lonely melody from the deep sea. The music of revelry continued for a long time, until the whispers of conspiracies were buried in the songs, until the roars of lethal struggle shattered the music. Legend holds that they who bear the weight of a pillar shall one day return to where it stands. Those who tug at the earth shall end amongst the mountains. Those who sow dawn and dusk shall remain eternal in the sky. And she would once again return to the pitch-black sea. And she would once again sing her music alone. The bountiful ocean, with the banquets of bygone days, stir as futile bubbles at the bottom of a glass. Many years later, the song once played by that swordmaster was played by future generations in the holy city. The people knew the demigod of the seas was still a noble captain. She possessed peerless swordsmanship and a song that is passed down through the ages. It was just that she had long since vanished. Guests at the banquet sometimes spoke of her, but it was only a prayer between their cups.
High Sealands, melody of the waves, bless our night that we may drink deep and dance till dawn.
Tja, bin also auch schon mal auf sie gespannt. High Sealands und dann ist Cyrene. Wie wird sie in die neue Story im neuen Zyklus eingearbeitet werden? Eine Sache ist auf jeden Fall klar, Lygus wird unser Gegner in der nächsten Version werden. So, und jetzt haben wir sowieso auch noch ein paar andere Geschichten ja auch noch. Hier zum Beispiel der Gefangene der Flammen. Phainon, was haben wir bei dir jetzt noch? Naja, erstmal Kapitel 3, 4 und 5.
Phainon? Perhaps you're more suited to being a teacher's assistant.
There were once those who misunderstood his alias. Phainon, an eventuality for students, a test for knowledge gained. It may bring wisdom to light and illuminate efforts, but the word's more common meaning is nothing less than the end.
That's quite ominous.
The man pretended to be surprised and responded with a smile.
Though it does dovetail with our destiny.
Tja, und dazu muss ich sagen, ich habe mir eigentlich wirklich noch nie so recht überlegt, was denn überhaupt sein Name zu bedeuten hat.
Laughter resounds. The man walks the land, leaving footprints filled with joy. Despite the weight of the past, he can always laugh it away. Those nearby glance at each other, unsure of how to respond.
Perhaps I was just born easygoing.
his explanation is just as carefree.
Look at Mighty and Professor Anaxa. Boys all grow up into serious adults. But as long as I keep smiling, Akuma will always have an upbeat, shining young man.
Though, having said that, he too has quiet moments. Each time he gazed long toward the coming dawn, a smile remained fixed on his lips, paying no mind to anything else. His eyes were painted with the azure of the sky, gaze fixed on the titan bearing the world.
I was just imagining.
He explained his own trance in a comment.
Kefali too was once in mortal flesh and raiment.
Now, when the man comes with sword in hand, there is no need to doubt he will swiftly win victory. But his smile is pure. Ever since the start of the journey, he is still called a youth in this story.
Dabei ist er der älteste von allen natürlich.
Youth is always ambitious, with lofty goals. But it seems that in the man's heart, only the wishes of others are held.
Apart from the ideal of deliverance, what do you have left?
The golden-haired friend once asked him so. He remained silent. Then, as he was wont to do, he simply smiled.
As long as I don't ask for too much, everything will unfold as desired.
In Amphoreus, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the gods' mercy while realizing the sorrows of this world. But that sorrow was, in the end, only the sorrow of the world. Nobody ever cared what lay behind the smile, what the clay figure thought.
Tja, und damit wäre das dritte Kapitel von Phainon abgeschlossen hier. Aber wir haben immer noch den nächsten Akt vor uns. Akt Nummer 4.
The people likened him to the blazing sun, bringing to Amphoreus a glorious dawn. And for his part, he embraced their expectations, being willing to become the perfect vessel. Like that god who shouldered the world, the man never cried or frowned. Yet he is not proud of his resolve, for sometimes he even avoids the funerals of the departed, only out of fear that he cannot cry for those in pain. He once sought out emotions of sorrow and walked with the lowliest of people.
Henceforth, your misfortune shall be my misfortune.
Responsibly and diligently, he protected all for the people, living in dilapidated cottages, sitting on aged stools, subsisting on nuts and fruit, beset by hunger and cold. The people thanked him for his grace, like a hearth warming winter nights. The man's presence dispelled the cold, leaving warmth with promises of morrow. Whence does his warmth come from? None ask. The man gradually perceives his true nature, but he dares not speak. Unable to bear the turmoil in his heart, the man set off on a journey once more.
Then I shall go save what I can.
He was a formidable warrior, invincible in battle, and when it was necessary to sacrifice for fellows, he could do so with ease, giving up everything without a show. Just as the ballad blown on the breeze says, losses are a constant on the flame-chased journey. Indeed, sacrifices were not hard for him, yet his misgivings grew with every tomorrow. Like a tear that cannot be shed, such a resolute willingness to let go comes only from the fact that in decisions, he is utterly unafraid to hurt himself.
It is because you suffer that you are so much stronger than any ordinary person.
There were also those who could understand him, among them, the Crown Prince. But he smiled wryly in response. Perhaps everything was just human nature, yet his misgivings never dissipated. This unknown man in an unknown corner, from time to time, is swallowed by terror.
Could it be that, unknowingly, path I walk is by no means the correct one?
Fearing only that the greater the burden, the more the mistakes. The road trod by heroes need not be that beset by thorns. Finally, at the terminus of that road, in a desolate, empty place, the man's arms tremble. The power is beyond control, savaging all around it. This is the end of his road, but perhaps he had long foreseen it, but was doomed to be powerless to change it.
I am willing to shoulder this world. That is no lie.
But before the tears could flow, they were vaporized by the heat. His light blazed brighter than the sun, but beneath it, there was but cold destruction. The nameless hero, Kaslana. He had never loved himself. Why would he love this world?
Tja, das werden wir im 5. Akt sicherlich erfahren. Der Akt der ausgebrannten Sonne. Bringen wir diese Geschichte erst einmal zum Abschluss.
A gust of wind will one day sweep past, wiping away all of the man's tracks. Nearly every footprint was stamped full of the fury that filled him. That humble youth faded away with the flames into yesterday. The first ray of light to pierce the long night was brought by the burning man, but the body that bore the weight of the world was forged by the fires of wrath. Rage is a crafty emotion. It changes its face, concealing itself within the man's life. His friend fought blood-soaked battles so their people would need fight no longer. But every victory in battle he gained left him neither satisfied nor proud, only with the indifference of emptiness.
You must be careful. Duty does not drive you to wield your blade, but hate.
His teacher kindly reminded him thus.
And behind that hatred, you seem to desire the destruction of the self.
what about his joy? Was that too merely a phony disguise? He who once laughed amidst the crowd, day after day, as though it were second nature. No, even though he knew not the meaning of love, that happy past was not a lie someone wove. But now, even those memories have melted into fury. His hatred is such that he cannot hold on to what he cherishes, though all is precious to him. Fueled with lone courage, he attempted to resist fate, but the burning sun that shines upon all creatures once fallen will incinerate the land, becoming golden death. But what of his sorrow? Indeed, the man could shed no tears. But at the moment the cycle manifested, when all that was familiar was now remote, the world collapsed, becoming empty in an instant. But the stabbing pain in the man's heart, was it but the residual warmth of his wraths? The truth no longer important, the man simply took another step forward. He wasn't willing to believe it, but was willing to acknowledge it.
There is no need to question your heart. No need to crave victory. If I am born to be a vessel of sin, then I shall roar at evil, and together with it burn.
In the endless cycles, there were some moments when the man felt everything dissolve like a dream. In that dream, he would awaken again and become once more that boy who loved to laugh. But were he to open his eyes, the fury would cast a shadow. He saw the creators choke his throat, gurgling and gasping. And in that boundless dream, he mistook them for his own jest. But their true forms were violent hatred towards the creators, towards himself, a roaring inferno. The prophecy departed, Amphoreus was unable to usher in the dawn. What rises in the distance is not the morning sun, but a ball of all-devouring fire, setting the universe in conflagration, searing till the end of time.
Tja, die Geschichte Phainos wäre damit jetzt erstmal abgeschlossen. Und das Epos wurde verfasst, der Gefangene der Flammen, Castellana. Tja, natürlich hätten wir jetzt, sagst du, sowieso noch ein paar weitere Geschichten übrig. Heilerin des Lichts und natürlich die flinke Reisende. Doch das, liebe Leute von heute, lassen wir jetzt erstmal noch ein bisschen außen vor. Okay, es wundert mich jetzt eigentlich, dass wir hier eine Möglichkeit haben, heranzuzoomen. Tja, wundert mich an der Stelle jetzt wirklich, dass wir hier auch die Möglichkeit haben, heranzuzoomen. Aber wie dem auch sei. Ich habe nur nachgedacht, wenn ich ein Vorwort für ein Jahrbuch schreiben müsste, müsste es eine Zeile sein, die so tief empfunden wird, dass du immer noch gerührt bist, egal wie oft du sie schon gelesen hast. Und nachdem ich immer wieder darüber nachgedacht habe, ich mag dich und es bringt immer noch am besten auf den Punkt, denn nur die reinsten Gefühle überdauern die Zeit und verblassen nie. Tja, macht Sinn, oder? Das denke ich auch. Das stimmt, jemanden zu mögen ist einfach ein natürlicher Teil des Lebens, Phantomat. Wenn du jemanden besonders gefunden hast, ob Familie, Freunde oder eine romantische Beziehung, dann nimm all deinen Mut zusammen und drücke dich frei aus. Aber ist es nicht ein Zeichen dafür, dass wir uns gut verstehen? Du schaffst es immer aufzutauchen, bevor ich bereit bin. Hey, kein Grund darüber nachzudenken, wir reisen schon so lange Seite an Seite, deshalb möchte ich jeden kleinen Moment, den wir geteilt haben, festhalten, ohne ein einziges Wort zu verpassen. Ein Jahrbuch, das einem beim Durchblättern unbewusst zum Lächeln bringt. Klingt das nicht wunderbar? Tja. An all das erinnerst du dich? Ich habe ein Geheimnis. Ab und zu gehe ich alles noch einmal durch und dann? Und es sind nicht nur Dinge, die wirklich passiert sind. Manche dieser Gespräche existieren nur in meiner Fantasie, aber sie sind auch wertvoll. Deshalb bewahre ich sie alle sorgfältig im selben Buch auf. Hatten wir das Gespräch nicht schon mal gehabt? Versprich mir, dass du es nur aufmachst, wenn ich nicht da bin, okay? Sonst wäre es mir viel zu peinlich. Hört sich irgendwie so an, als hätten wir das schon mal gehabt. Aber gut, alle Eposse haben wir jetzt also noch nicht hier. Geschrieben, aber haben wir jetzt auf jeden Fall schon mal ein paar Sachen wieder mal neu erhalten. Okay, ein paar Kleinigkeiten musste man jetzt noch mal ausprobieren. Die Wahrscheinlichkeit, dass da jetzt irgendwas klappen würde, war zwar nicht gerade sehr groß, aber ein Versuch schadet ja sowieso nie. Wir haben eigentlich so aus dem Standard-Warp-Banner schon lange eigentlich nichts mehr Besonderes mehr rausgekriegt. Ja, okay, dann eben jetzt Natascha. Na gut, und damit wäre jetzt auch natürlich dieser Part zu einem Abschluss gebracht worden. Wir haben jetzt erstmal überprüft, was denn jetzt hier überhaupt mit dem Becken hier los ist, mit dem Gezeiten im Becken. Und wir haben dann natürlich jetzt auch noch mal ein paar, ja, Geschichten weiter verfasst. Wobei jetzt aktuell sowieso nur noch die Geschichten von, ja, Cypher und aber darüber auch noch Cynthia jetzt fehlte. Nun denn, damit sage ich dann jetzt aber auch erstmal Tschüss, bis zum nächsten Mal. Bis dann und ciao.